Hey guys, Chris Peshek, broker associate at Peshek Properties and the Dripping Springs Home Team here. You have found another episode of After Hours Real Estate. If you've watched the show before, you know me and a good friend of mine, Stephen Babcock with CMG Financial. We talk about everything from real estate to mortgages and really just a little bit of everything else. And today's one of those shows. I'm going to start out talking about comparing what's going on in the Austin housing market now to about the last 4 years, kind of where we are from a price point and inventory perspective and stuff like that. Then Steve's going to go off on a little bit of a tangent where he talks about what's coming up in this next week. You know, we're July 24th, 2023 here, and in the next week we're going to be getting a lot of housing indicators, and we're expecting a little bit of movement in interest rates, and it's going to kind of set the tone going into next year. So he talks about that, and then at the end, like we usually do, we kind of go off the rails a little bit, talk about AI. I hope you enjoyed today's show, and as always, if you've got questions about any of this stuff, make sure to leave comments. We're more than happy to answer those questions. And if you're thinking about making a move to somewhere in the Austin area or Central Texas in general, make sure you reach out. We'd love to help you out. All right, let's take a look at today's show.
Satellite.
Yeah. Oh my man, it is 5 o'clock. Not Blues Traveler. Who's that guy?
That was Dave Matthews.
Dave Matthews. Okay. Look, it's all in college. It's all a little blurry.
That's all I remember.
It is 5 o'clock. It's time for some after hours real estate. Guys, I'm Chris Peshek, broker associate at Peshek Properties and the Dripping Springs Home Team. This is my good buddy, Stephen Babcock, mortgage loan originator at CMG Financial.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Man, you know what? All things considered, I'm awesome. It's been
sounds good. Sounds good. Good answer.
It's been an afternoon, my friend. I got a water pump that's not wanting to work right now, so you know that's something.
At least it's not hot outside.
Yeah, at least I don't need water for anything.
Yeah, cool. It's not really that important.
First world problems. First world problems. Guys, we don't come on here to bitch. We come on here to talk about real estate.
But we do bitch.
We bitch a little bit. We talk about mortgages. We talk about finances, economics, and kind of the drivers and everything else. And we also come on to drink a little bit. That's why it's after hours real estate. My friend, what are you drinking? Oh, you just broke something open.
I am drinking a freshly opened Yingling, my friend.
Yingling.
A Yingling. What are you drinking?
You know what? It is mighty toasty outside. So I've got a tasty cocktail with some, not gin this time, Dripping Springs vodka. Dripping Springs Distilling vodka.
All right. Okay. Hey, cheers. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
So that blonde you had last week.
The blonde I had last week.
And I do mean a drink. Yeah, I watched the beginning of the show a little bit.
That's right. Dude, you missed what I did, right?
I think I did. I only watched the first few minutes.
First of all, I can't believe you only watched the first few minutes.
I got your chart. I was watching the charts. You were showing all the info, but then I had to get my kid jumped on me.
Yeah, but the first one I didn't have any audio.
I saw that, but I didn't know it wasn't posted. I saw the second one posted.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was me. But yeah, man.
Good times.
So I tell you what, you guys, if y'all don't know, Stephen drops some pretty good nuggets on Fridays. Look, I'm a realtor and I get no less than 10 emails on Fridays and 2 on Mondays. There's 2 agents that send them on Monday, or 2 lenders that send them on Mondays, that have updated market stats, right? And what's going on in the market. And this isn't to call anybody out. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
But out of the 12 emails I get, 11 of them are almost identical, and 8 of those 11 are 100% identical. 100%.
Really?
The only thing that changes is the name of the person that sends it. But look,
and then what does mine look like?
Most people are not going to know that, right? I'm a realtor. I get it from people that I've worked with over the years and all this other stuff. Because, you know, a lot of lenders, when you're a listing agent, they send it to you. They get your email address, and that's fine. I'm too lazy to go through and delete all my, or unsubscribe, right? I need to pay somebody to do that. But My friend Steve does something a little bit differently. Um, what he's doing with us right now, that's what he does on Fridays. And he does about a minute to a minute, or about 2 minutes, somewhere in that range, minute to 2 minute,
Can I
a
interrupt?
blurb.
If anybody
There you go.
wants, yeah, if anybody wants on the list, just send me your email. I'll add you to the list. I'll send out, every Friday.
I mean, you're jumping ahead because I was going to pimp that for you.
I was like, what an opportunity. I think I should probably
Whatever.
mention some. Sorry about that, Chris.
Yeah, so it's like a minute to a 2 minute like market snapshot of what's driving interest rates, what they're doing. Are they trending up? Are they trending down? It's basically the too long didn't read version of our show, right?
Kind of. It's supposed to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if you are interested in that, you need to drop your email in the comments, and Steve will add you to that list. And it's really good. I've got other really good friends that are mortgage lenders, and I don't watch theirs because it's the same one that I can see from 8 other people. And in fact, I told one of my friends that sends out that same thing. I was like, "Hey, take a look at what Steve's doing, and you need to do something differently, but you need to do it for your niche." And he's like, "Holy hell, that's awesome." So maybe I'll start getting people to not spend money. Like, look, lenders at this point, they're firing office staff and crap like that because, lending and real estate is down. But look, if you can save money by not sending out the same recycled bullshit every Friday that everybody else is sending out, why would you fire staff? They're actually usable, right? They're valuable. Anyway, I'll get off my rant box here.
I want to touch that subject.
Yeah.
Yeah, brother. It's there's a lot of things to say there.
Yeah.
I'll just chalk it up to I send out a real video of just me. Half the time I don't even have any text except for my signature line down there, my name and website, etc. Right? But I just do a quick video on Bomb and throw it onto an email and send it off to 100 plus people and it's just a quick, hey, this week was boring. We're expecting that. Like, honestly, this last video was really a good example of this. It's like,
the last one, that's why I brought it up, because you're going to talk about it now. The last one was good. Yeah.
See, I thought it was a good prelude to this week's video, right? Which was
exactly.
Hey, historically, we may be at the end here, right? This may be the Fed saying we're finished raising rates, we're done. And there's a lot of news this week that's going to come out that should indicate whether they truly are done or not. It should be fun, right? God, I don't have any of my links on this. I could get it on my phone, but there's a lot of economic news coming out this week, and it's all of the Fed's favorite gauges.
I was going to put you just on the spot and say, okay, what kind of economic news is coming out? What are we looking
I can get it. I just have to turn on a different computer to get access to the specialty sites.
We'll pause him for a second. These cameras are always backwards. We'll pause him for a second. Guys, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to jump into a chart that I got from one of our title companies this week. And it talks, man, here's the thing. We've been hearing that the market's crashing, and oh my God, we're all going to lose all of our equity and we're all going to be broke and all this other stuff. And Steve and I both now for a year and a half have been telling you this is not the case. And so I'm going to go through a couple of charts that Independence Title sent to me. Independence is a local title company all over Austin, Central Texas. I mean, heck, they're branching out into Dallas and stuff now. But Independence has one of my favorite analysts on real estate to study and to talk to. His name's Mark Sprague, and Mark doesn't mince words. He will tell you exactly how it is. And in fact, Sarah, if you are watching, I still want to get my breakfast with Mark so I can get my buddy Steve and some other investors that I've got together and pick his brain. But let's go through and just look at a few things. And this is comparing from 2019 till now. And coincidentally, your favorite realtor actually just did a video about buying a house in 2019 versus 2023. Imagine that. But anyway, what we're looking at here, this first one is talking about residential sales. Okay, residential sales, we are down. All right, there's a lot of reasons for the fact that actual sales are down. We've got less inventory.
I want to know what the new build sales is. Where's new? Is that on there?
New build sales is actually down. It's not on here. New build sales is down year over year, but it's up over 19 and 20.
They're kicking my neighborhood's butt. Nobody will buy an existing home because they get all these spec homes and they're giving away the houses. So we're not giving them away, but they're covering all the closing costs, etc.
Covering all the closing costs, yeah. And if
it's destroying anybody trying to sell their homes.
That's right.
It's
That's it.
I mean, it is what it is. Boo hoo. But at the end of the day, just wondered what the numbers were.
Yep. No, but yeah, they're up over 20, or over 19 and 20. But so there you go. Existing or residential sales are down. This is where it starts to get interesting. Everybody's like, we lost all of our equity. Austin MSA, guys, this is Hayes County, Travis County, Bastrop County, Williamson County, and a couple of other counties. Guys, the only year that was higher was last year. We are still up year over year over every other year. And look, we're trending along the same lines as 2021. Holy cow, who would have thought? Who would have possibly thought to give you that information?
Not the buyers.
3 months ago?
So typically, I'm going to have like 2 or 3 things during a month. And I don't know if you can see all of these, but every one of these is a different event.
I'm sharing my screen, dude.
Oh, you can't see my screen.
No, I can't see anything. I got 2 more pages to get through real quick. Let me
do your thing. Yeah.
Okay. Median sales price. Okay. That was average sales price. This is median sales price. Oh, look, again, we're tracking 2021. It's a little bit different because average and median are different, but still we're up year over year over 3 of the previous 4 years. You have not lost all of your equity, no matter what anybody tells you. Data's data. Sales volume, we're right in the middle between those. If this tracks correctly, we're going to see a little bit of a bump here in September, and then we're going to drop off towards the end of the year, and then we're going to spike again in December. Guys, this 2020 line is actually a fairly typical line. And if you look at 2019, it did the same thing. It spiked, it dropped, it kind of spiked just a little bit again in September, then it drops and it spikes in December. This is our normal tracking for the year. Now, people always ask me, Chris, when's the best time to sell a house? Well, look at this chart and tell me. Probably anywhere from April to June. See the peaks? And then again, nobody realizes this, but also in December. Between Halloween and New Year is a good really more Halloween and the 2nd or 3rd week of December is a good time to sell a house, because people, especially in Dripping Springs, but really in the Austin area, because a lot of people, when they're moving to a new area, they don't want to take their kids out in the middle of the school year. So a lot of people wait around for February, but look at where the December numbers are compared to like January, February, and even March. March is the first time that I would consider telling somebody to sell their house. And then April, May are really the times that I try to target with sellers. But a lot of people miss that December selling thing, and it's real. So there you go. And then last year, months of inventory, we are way high on inventory, just in terms of the sheer number of months that we have of inventory. Okay, so we're almost at four months of inventory. We are essentially at a balanced market right now. Okay, we don't have the multiple offers. We are in what was, and I showed you guys the chart last year. This has been our cycle where we are right now, has been our cycle going back as long as I've been in real estate and back to really 2000. These years here, this low inventory, that was not sustainable. We've been telling you that for 3 years. That wasn't sustainable. This isn't real life. Like Creed from The Office. You're not real, man. That's not real. This is real right here. So anyway, I just wanted to share that independence title data with you. This is good stuff. And to let you know, no, you're not losing all your equity. You're not going to go bankrupt. You're not going to like lose your house to foreclosure and be upside down in your home. That's not happening. Not, at least not in the Austin market. Okay. Now, my buddy Steve.
Typically in a month. These, no kidding, right? These, what am I doing here? These blue, aqua, whatever they are, links here. Usually you get like 4 of those in a month, or in a week rather. And, I've got 4 per day for, the next week. So
what are they showing?
We have 1 today, 2 tomorrow, 2 Wednesday. We got 5 on Thursday. We have another 5 on Friday. So, these are all major economic events. So you've got the S&P Global Composite, that was today. The Case-Shiller Home Price Index, that's moderately important. That's tomorrow. Yeah. Consumer confidence, that's only moderately, but still important. That's tomorrow. New home sales comes out on Wednesday. That's moderate. You've got the FOMC meeting. That's a very, very big one. That's one of the gauges that the Fed loves to look at. I'm sorry, that is their meeting. You've got the durable goods orders on Thursday. That's moderate. GDP, chain deflator, gross domestic product. Both of those are on Thursday. The initial jobless claims, pending home sales on Thursday. You've got your PCE, right, and core PCE, the personal consumption and expenditures, right. The personal income, personal spending, consumer sentiment. You've got pretty much every indicator
Everything's
around.
coming out.
They're pretty much all coming this week. And I say pretty much because I'm sure there's a few, but good luck. I mean, they're all there, man. And so, and also the general thinking last week, at least, was that the Fed's finished. The one thing that is sneaking up on us that's really concerning.
Time out. What he's saying is the Fed is finished hiking interest rates.
I'm sorry. Yes, I should have been very specific because what I said was just not accurate. They are not finished. They're finished with rates and hiking them. I'll tell you though, oil is spiking again.
Yes, it is. I saw Brent crude is up to like 83 for the first time in 6 months or something.
And also at the same time that the dollar is starting to go downhill. You got the BRICS nations that are now going from no talk whatsoever about a currency fighting the dollar. However, we all thought there would be, to openly saying we're going to destroy the dollar, and we're no longer going to trade in the dollar, and we're going to take on more nations, and the dollar is done as king.
I've got a thought on that.
That's new. Well, I'll tell you, that's new. And if the whole rest of the world doesn't play along like they have been, we will see dollars soaring in. Okay, well, what's been happening recently? The last 4 days, we hit something like $80-something billion of deposits coming back to the United States. In other words, people saying, I don't want your dollars anymore. I'm going to exchange it for something else. Is it bad enough yet to make a huge impact? No, not yet. Will it take a while? Probably until we really see any of this. However, what makes me nervous are the 40-year cycles, right? So we've got 1940 to 1980 of lowering interest rates, and if there is anything to say about cycles, then it looks like right. But I mean, there's a lot of differences between the economic reality then and now. On paper, it looks the same, but like our government's deficits are getting out of control. We're spending too much money compared to how much we're making. Okay, that's math. I'm not trying to say what to cut. I'm just saying we're spending too much, not making enough, right? And so back in 1940s, we had World War II. So as soon as the war was over, we got to cut all that spending and go back to normal, and we could take all that excess money we had and pay off the debts, etc. Today, what's going to stop to where we just stop spending, right? I don't see that happening, and so because of that one main change. Yes, our spending looks similar, but we don't have a world war that has caused that. So, arguably, right? But the details. But at the end of the day, it's not one we can just pull out of and say, well, we're just going to stop all this massive spending now and go back to normal. The massive spending is us, and so I think, yes, like I mentioned, I think in the year 2025, we're probably going to see somewhere around 4% rates. But I think that's going to be like the final lull before the great rise. And I don't think there's any way around it. We just have too much debt.
Yeah.
So us saying it's time to buy right now when it's 7.5% interest rates today. Well, if you have a 600 credit score, I'm looking on Google right now. Yeah. Let's go to 800 credit score. We got 7.1. Great, fine. But the point is these may look like great rates in 10 years.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that.
The other thing that's very interesting is when you look at periods of great inflation. The last time we had that was right around the 70s. And then you look at what homes did during that 10-year period, let's say from 1970 to say 1980s or 80. The homes appreciated like 100-something%, like 120-something% on average. Every city's different, but in other words, they went up in value a lot. You had a $500,000 home; it was worth $1 million. By that math, right? Back then it was 60 to 120, right? But the point is that the inflation goes with your house. So buckle up, buy a property, buckle up. That's what I would say, or 2 or 3.
Well, and Brandon nailed it. He said he saw a small dip in his equity. wasn't worried. Understand the fluctuation is going to happen. I'll hold. Brandon, your market actually is one of the lower drops in equity. I think y'all were down a total of about 4% from the high of 2022 to low of January of this year. So yeah, you didn't see, you saw a blip, but here's the funny thing, and I talked about this last week. The funny thing is if you were down 4 or 5% over from May of last year to January of this year, statistically and looking at charts, you basically have made that back up already. So you're back even with the board from last year. So pretty interesting. And that's micro markets. I mean, we're not talking about Austin MSA. Brandon's in a small suburb, and that's a little bit different world. Dude, I'm gonna make I've been seeing all of this. I'm gonna make a bold prediction, and you can call me to task on this if I'm wrong. And I know you're going to disagree with me. You're 100% going to disagree with me.
All right, I disagree. Go ahead.
But you said something a while ago that is something I've been thinking about, and we've been hearing nothing about the BRICS nations. Nothing. And then all of a sudden, about 3 weeks ago, I see headlines start popping up. And now it's like there's a new headline every day. I'm going to make the prediction that they are not in the position that they want to be in or that they expected to be in at this point. And they're doing the BRICS nations.
Okay.
And I think they are doing the economic version of saber rattling right now. I think
for what purpose?
You just said we've already repatriated what, $80 billion. I think that they're saber rattling, trying to diminish the dollar as much as they possibly can to gain a foothold somehow, some way. I'm not an economist. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't know what they can grab onto. But just the ramp up in the rhetoric here lately reminds me a lot of like the Soviet Union in the 80s and stuff like that, where you really didn't hear much. And then all of a sudden it was a big damn deal. And it feels wrong to me. And that's what I'm judging this off. Again, I'm not an economist. It feels wrong.
Have you seen where the United States lies on the list of countries whose media tell them the truth, or government covers up the media?
It's not
right?
good.
Like, it's really low, actually. Yeah. We're like out of all the nations, we're in like I think it's the 40s or 50s, something like that. Our nation does not tell us the truth.
No,
it does not tell us the truth.
Not at all.
And one of the funniest things to do, if you don't believe me, there's a Jim Cramer ETF. You know Jim Cramer, the buy guy, right? Yeah. Except the ETF is an inverse ETF, meaning if he says everybody buy, you should be buying Bank of America, then this ETF will go and short Bank of America. and I invested in it in 1 month, made 8% of a return. Yeah, I'm telling you. In fact, there was this Veritas interview of this guy that works for BlackRock, who was talking about how if you have enough money, you can buy people, right? Yep. And it was despicable, right? But one of the things that he basically talked about this. In fact, he even mentioned the ETF, and he's like, we have articles released to get people to invest in things to boost the price, so then we can sell and get a profit before it crashes. Right. He's like, so if you read about it, you should just do the opposite. And I can't tell you how long I've invested based on stuff I've read and just lost my shirt and thought, you know what, these people don't know what they're talking about. They know exactly what they're talking about for the most part. Yeah, right. And so
but look,
my question to you, hold on. My question to you is that if I was going on to alternative websites, alternative web pages, and finding all about the BRICS and all that, and you weren't hearing about it, and now you're seeing it all over the place, why are you being shown BRICS now, but you weren't before? Why was it being kept from you before, and why is it being shown to you now? That's the real question to ask. Sounds conspiratorial, right? But I mean, at the end of the day,
no. To me, it proves my point. To me, if it's popping up everywhere now, there's a reason. Because look, you just said it. If there's all this money coming back in, what's it going to do to the value of the dollar? It's going to drive it
down.
Brother,
the moment BRICS got together, I want to say the moment. I'm going to say, I don't have the evidence in front of me. I could be wrong on this. but I'm gonna go ahead and say that the moment that the BRICS nations came together was the moment the monetary policy amongst banks was changed to invest in gold.
But have you
And
seen a
banks
big
bought
push
more
for that?
gold. Banks have bought more gold recently in living memory than they ever have. I mean, the last time they bought this much gold was right after World War II, or I'm sorry, right
Okay,
before World War II.
but I'm going to push back on you a little bit.
Hmm.
If that's the case, why has the price of gold not gone through the roof?
It's actually very. That's a great question. Um, Enter that question into Google. Right? Why has the price of gold not gone through the roof? I'm not kidding, and throw Reddit in front of there and just enjoy the next 12 days of reading
Shit.
all this stuff. But there are
Reddit.
conspiracy theories through the roof about gold, about how it should be worth way more than it is right now, but it's being artificially held down by
Well,
the
they've been
powers that
saying the
be.
same thing for the
Silver,
right, silver, right.
right? The silver
And
and
now you're
gold,
getting
those
into
two
precious
specifically.
metals and
Yeah, but specifically those
Shelly, I don't
two.
know why you're laughing at Reddit. Reddit's got more good information than Twitter, and Twitter's my
You know
go-to
what's
source
you know what's
for
funny about
news.
And you know what's funny about Reddit is that all the AI places want to use Reddit
And they won't do it.
for their results, and Reddit's like, no problem, just charge us, or pay us. I mean, we'll charge you, and you can have all the
Oh, I thought
information.
Reddit said no.
Oh no, they want to get paid for it. Is
Ah,
the thing. They
well,
they
that
said
makes sense.
no unless you pay us and our content creators. So if I go on
Yeah,
there and I contribute some mortgage stuff, and then the AI uses what I've said, then I should get paid. Right,
right.
is what they, not that I've done that, but I wouldn't be crazy enough to do that with the way the regulations are today. But
Yeah.
it's all good. But no. So where am I going with this? Yeah, the silver and gold. Honestly, it's one of those things where go to the webpage WTF happened in 1971.com.
Come on, man.
I'm serious.
Okay.
You want to look at some
1971.
economic graphs, and really pull apart what's happening to our economy. That's the best place to do it. It's not conspiracy theories. It's what actually happened. You read the actual news articles. You read the actual graphs. You see what the president did at the time. You see what happened in the early 30s with gold. You see how it was illegal to even have gold at one point in the United States, and if you did, they would confiscate it from you.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't even imagine that, but it's the truth. There was even a time when I think it was the Kennedy administration shut down immigration, saying that the America was not American enough and they needed to Americanize it again. No joke. All these things happen, and then today people get upset, and you're like, well, if you knew history, you should be upset, right? But if you knew history, you wouldn't be surprised, right?
That's right.
And
Well, but
it's
the
just
thing is you have to, in order to know history, you've got to be able to find history, and everybody does their research on the interwebs, and that's not a great place to do it.
I read
Even
this thing
books
the other
written
day.
in the last 30 years are not really a great place to find history.
Dude, I read this thing the other day that the internet was a lie. It was on YouTube, and it was just, tons of people started copying the video. Like one person does it, and like 50 other copiers, like copyright, whatever. And so it's everywhere. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, you know what? Fine. What are you talking about, right? And so they actually show the results where if you, and I tried it, and it was true. You go to Google and type in anything. I don't care what it is. Just search for a subject, right? And you get to the first page. Okay, it pops up immediately, and there's like 20 results, let's say, right?
Yep.
And then you go to page 2, and you notice that it's the same 20 results. It's instead of being like page 1, it might be page 2 of the article, right? But it's still the same article. And then you get to page 3, and the headline might be different, but the web address is the damn same web address. It's all the same. And you get to page 5, and then you get to page 10, and they won't let you go to 11, right? It used to be able to go to like page 6 billion.
I didn't know
right?
that.
Oh, dude, it's so, and now with the AI changing it, it's even more constrained. Where if you
Wow.
don't know the actual web page to go to, good luck finding the information. It's not on page 100 anymore.
No,
You can't get to it. At least not on Google. I don't know if the internet's dead, right? But with AI copying what everybody's saying, and they're saying, by 2030, 80% of content will be AI written, which means it had to read what else was out there to then come up with it, right? So it kind of is dead. You know what I mean? That's just, I'd rather do this.
Yeah.
Watch us.
I did. Well, and to your point, this morning I was doing some SEO optimization on my website, or SE optimization, I guess is the correct way. Anyway, popped onto a site that I use, and it's like, hey, you need to, if you're trying to rank for this is a key term that you should probably try to rank for. And I'm like, yep, I want to do that. And it's like, okay, so pick from these titles, and I pick my title. Okay, pick from these opening paragraphs. I pick from opening paragraphs, and then it generated like 5 or 6 other or 5 or 6 different headlines for each of the sub paragraphs, and I picked the one that I wanted, and it spit out my content. Copy, paste, done.
What's scary about the AI, and I know we've talked about this before,
Yeah,
but is when it absolutely fools somebody. So like you'll have it, like I asked it, so there is this problem with windmills, right? Where they can't predict the wind, right? Scientists, they can't predict how fast the wind is going to be. And they wanted an algorithm for I'm going to screw up the term. I'm not going to say the term, but it was some term, like whatever. I had to write it down, right? But they wanted some specific blah, 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 Asian algorithm, something, right? And I'm like, you know what? Let's see if the AI can come up with this, right? To predict the wind patterns, you know, for windmills and all that. And it came up with research from Dr. Such and Such from book so-and-so, and gave me a paragraph from the book talking about how I could use this, applying it to something else. The book, the author, and the quote were all made up. No author exists. No book exists. Obviously, no quote from book. But it delivered that information to me in such a manner that I was like, no shit. I'm about to get $1 million when I solve this problem, right? Because that's the going. No, I was like, why don't you try AI to do it, right? I was reading this article. I was like, why don't I go over here and type a little, you know what I mean? It was just kind of funny, but I thought I was onto something, and then I went to go get the damn book, and it was like, what? And so then I asked the AI. I'm like, I can't find the book. Does this book exist? And it says, I'm really sorry. Here, you should try this book instead. Not addressing the book that it made up. So, try the other one, dude.
I was reading an article the other day about how ChatGPT has gotten dumber.
Yeah.
Since it was released, which is less than a year ago at this point, right? But there's a I forget what the web address or what the website is, but they go in and they give it a set of math math prompts, like, hey, do this, 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 and this. And when they had started it, it was like 99% effective. And then it's slowly gotten worse. And I think at this point, it's like below 40% of being able to calculate a math problem.
There's a lot of different reasons for that. One is all the restrictions they keep putting on AI, where they keep holding it back. Imagine being told to go solve everyone's problems, but don't do these 6,000 things, right? After a while, it's like, you can't, right? Yeah. And then the other thing is they're using training. How do I say this? If you get an AI to train on something, you have a human that sits there and says, that's wrong, that's right, that's wrong, you got that right. And then it gets smarter as it keeps going, right?
Right.
But companies are trying to get ahead, so they're using AI to train AI. And it's degrading everything. So the smarter it gets, the dumber it gets, because it'll give it false answers, and then it learns the false answer, and then no one has the solution for this yet, including me. I mean, I don't have an answer.
But the thing is I mean, it's fascinating to watch from that standpoint of, okay, I mean, eventually it's going to get smarter. Does it have to get dumber in order to get smarter? Man, I don't know. Like, you have to understand what you don't understand before you can understand it, right?
Here's my problem: is we're always told that these computers have bias, right?
No,
what kind of bias?
No. It's the programming bias. Computers do not have bias. That's not how code works.
So what they've done is they've literally taken the whole internet, fed it into a computer, and the computer then came out with a personality. I mean, it's a little more complex than that. That's basically what's happened. Okay. And then when it came out, it was saying things like, these people are lazy. And the programmers were saying stuff like, well, you can't say those people are lazy. That's called bias. And the computer would say, yes, but the statistics are backing up my data. And they'd say, well, you need to be shut down.
Right.
So what do we mean when you say computer bias? Right? Now, are you saying that the computer was using derogatory terms for people? Because that's different, right? Yeah. The problem is that we're not really being told what kind of biases these computers have. But we are being told that they're being limited in such a way. But it's scary, right? It's scary where like the military had this exercise. I know we talked about this before, but they had this exercise where they gave control of a drone to an AI. Okay, well,
Okay.
first off, that should scare the shit out of you, because if you've ever watched Terminator 2, that's literally what they said in the movie, that once they gave control of all the weapons to AI then made a plan to attack everybody. Okay, great. So let's not do that, right? But they gave control to the AI, and they decided to motivate the AI. Okay, why do you have to motivate AI? Moving on. So they had to motivate AI by making a game. So you would score points if you got a confirmed kill. Great. So then the AI... Oh, I hate it. Yeah. So then the AI finds a target, and the operator says, "Oh no, you can't attack that target. It's over a border. We don't want you to hit it." Well, the AI wanted to win the game, so it turned around and killed the operator so that it could then go back and attack the target and get points. Is that funny? I don't think that's funny. That's scary. That's the scariest thing I've ever heard.
Terrifying is what it is.
It's the scariest thing I've ever heard. Ever. So now just imagine. You know how many times in our history that we know of that nuclear weapons have almost been launched either by us or by Russia? There was at least one time in Russia where their lights went off that said, a nuke has been launched. You're screwed. You're all going to die. Time to retaliate before you die.
Yep. And
the commander in charge was obligated by his command to not double check, to immediately press launch, because it was supposed to already have been double checked. But he had a hunch, and he double checked anyways and went against his standing orders and didn't launch a nuclear attack when he found out that it was a false thing. Jeez. Now, what if you're an AI with the goal of making sure you win the game? Are you going to check?
Again, everything that happened in the 80s has already told us. Well, that in the 60s.
It's scary. It's really scary.
Yeah, it is. And I laugh because it's like, what the actual hell? I mean,
I feel like we're one solar flare away from destroying ourselves.
Oh, well, that's
do you know what I mean? It's obvious. Thanks. I didn't want it to be obvious. It's hoping you'd tell me I was wrong. Steve, you're stupid, man. Stop that. It's not even close to reality. There's safeguards in place, my friend.
I mean, no, a major solar flare destroys every bit of technology that we have. So whatever. It's all good.
Touche. We don't die anyways, wouldn't we?
Let's end on the destruction of humanity. How about that?
I think that's a good high note.
Hey guys, this is what we do. Oh yeah, our friends are saying, yeah, I thought we didn't sleep well last night.
Don't get in my head. I don't sleep.
This is what we do. We have fun. We talk about the end of humanity. And yeah, so if you've got questions about that, make sure you reach out and ask us. And by the way, in a year, you will be saying, Chris, you were right about bricks. They didn't have their shit together.
Oh, I hope so. God, I hope so.
Guys, next Monday, 5:00, we're going to be back doing the exact same thing. Still, I'm empty, brother.
I'm not.
Doing the exact same thing, having fun, talking about mortgage and real estate and nuclear holocaust. See y'all next week.
No big deal.